Good afternoon. I am Kelsey Ruff-Smith, Director of Programs here at the Community Foundation for Ocala, Marion County. And thank you for joining us today for Tech Talks. I am so excited for this one. It was one I'm looking most forward to. I've got with us today Lisa Rubino of ActiveCampaign, who's going to be telling us more about their awesome marketing automation software and how that can save us time and make more money for our nonprofits. Lisa, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Kelsey.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
Let you take it straight away. So I'm going to mute myself and let you share your screen and take the show on the road.
Okay, great. Please, if anybody has questions, let us know. I want this to be as interactive as we can make it, and relate this to, the nonprofits that are able to join us today.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. Kelsey, it looks like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here's this.
Yeah, you could enable it. Perfect. Okay, so just to start us off, I have a short slide deck to get everybody a little bit more familiar with ActiveCampaign and who we are. The first thing I want to look at, though, are, identify some of the challenges, that I understand that nonprofits are experiencing, and also goals and things that they want to accomplish, through their marketing efforts. ActiveCampaign can absolutely be used as a database management tool, and also an email service to connect with your customer, or with your donors, your volunteers, and your members. So some of the things that I've identified, and through not only my conversations with Kelsey, but in working with other nonprofits and other, ActiveCampaign customers, a lot of the things that I'm hearing are that, cost is important, and being able to find a cost-effective tool that is also powerful, is something that I think a lot of businesses, nonprofits, and organizations are striving for. And also, one of the benefits with ActiveCampaign is that, it is an automation tool. So we're going to look at that today, and it'll make a lot more sense, and I'll explain that. For those of you who maybe have not used an automation tool before. And really the benefit here is that you can automate mundane tasks that are, you might be spending a lot of time doing, or maybe don't have time to do. With a lot of nonprofits, I understand, have leaner teams. And so if there's any way, any areas of the business that we can automate for you, I understand is very, very helpful. So a solution would be something like ActiveCampaign. It's definitely an easy to use tool. It's cost effective, and we also offer a high level of support for nonprofits and our customers, at no additional costs. And so our goal is to be an extension of your business wherever possible, and provide you with that support that you do need. A couple of other things that we're always looking to do is increase your donor base and retain your current donors, whether those are donors, your members, or your volunteers. How can we increase that engagement? And so through ActiveCampaign, we allow and give you the tools to communicate with your contacts in the channel that best resonates with them, and use our drip campaigns to increase donations as well. So there's a few different use cases here. Please let me know, if there's another use case anybody wants me to speak to. But Kelsey, am I on the right path here in terms of the different areas we want to look at?
Yes, I think so.
Increasing donations, increasing engagement with membership, and keeping that engagement coming back and retaining it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Alrighty. So a few slides I just want to share about ActiveCampaign, and then we'll get into the platform. That's the most exciting part for sure. So our head office, we're headquartered in Chicago. That's where I'm sitting today, in the suburbs. And we are, ActiveCampaign has over 100,000 customers globally. Quite a bit of business in the US. We also have customers, I think, in 170 countries. So 55% of our customers are actually outside the US too, which is wonderful. And, it's exciting to see how far our reach has come. So we started in 2003. We've definitely, been a player in this space for quite a while now. I started in 2017, and at that time we had around 150 employees and 40,000 customers. To date, we have 100,000 customers. It's a huge milestone. We're very excited to announce that. That was just I think in April. And to support this growth and our customers globally, not only have we opened up offices around the world, and of course expanded our office here in the States, but we also, have around 600 employees. And so customer support is really important. It's something that we provide and we really pride ourselves on. And so if anybody has any questions here, please let me know. Also, some fun facts. We use ActiveCampaign internally. So I'm using the tool every day, not only in my demo account, but in managing my book of business as a salesperson here. And so I can definitely speak to that. And, I'm not sure the sizes of nonprofits that might be joining us today, but we primarily support small and medium-sized businesses. ActiveCampaign as an organization, we're definitely our largest customer. So, we do have quite a bit of bandwidth depending on, the size of lists that we might be working with. And today, everything that we're going to talk about is surrounded, and focused on the customer experience and the customer journey, and making, looking at ways that we can help you meaningfully connect and engage with your donors, volunteers, members, to keep them engaged. And also, it's really important, I think, especially in this day and age, to speak to everybody individually. There's so much email out there. So, we want to look at ways that we can stand out and be as personalized as possible, to get the results that we're looking for. Now, in looking at the customer journey, there's, we consider like 5 different stages, and that starts at awareness. How are people finding out about your nonprofit? What are they doing in terms of the consideration stage? Here they're wondering what your nonprofit does, why it's important, getting them involved in your mission. And then tipping them over to the decision phase, of deciding, yes, I am bought in, I want to donate, I want to become a member. And then growing, with them. And so, and lastly, and I think most importantly for nonprofits, is the advocacy stage. And, a lot of that, of your awareness may come from your advocates and word of mouth, and having your advocates bring, whether that's a referral program or, getting more members to join that way. And so we want to look at all of these stages and communicate with people in a strategic way based on where they lie here. So, someone who's maybe donated with you multiple times, we want to treat a little bit differently than somebody who is just in the awareness stage and maybe just came to your website and just subscribed with you. So we can get very hyper personalized, with your interactions through ActiveCampaign, and I'll show you that through the demo. And, we also are focusing heavily on this sweet spot between automation and human touch, especially when we're working with lean teams. Like I said before, we're looking, at different processes and just flows of communication that can be automated, but also we want to leverage data and collect as much data as we can on your members and donors so that we can be as personalized as possible and really find this sweet spot between both. I know a lot of nonprofits are definitely like heavy relationship based, and so we have some other tools there that you can use for regular day-to-day relationship management as well. Now, in the marketing automation space, I know there's a lot of tools that are very specific for nonprofits. ActiveCampaign is absolutely used in the nonprofit space as well. In our space, this is kind of where we lie in the middle. We're definitely a mid-market tool. And so if anybody's out there, I know this program was put together for evaluating and, having an easy way to evaluate more tools. Hopefully this helps show where we fit in the market. So we work with a lot of customers coming to us from, tools like Constant Contact or MailChimp, more like email blast companies that are looking to take the next step. And also things I'm hearing constantly is that they're looking for ways to better segment and start using automation in their day-to-day. Now, we're also able to support customers coming to us from more all-in-one solutions, often very expensive, and we're able to be a good fit there because we truly are this automation powerhouse. The functionality is second to none, and you can also build a very customized marketing stack with ActiveCampaign. So what I mean by that is, we make it very easy technically to integrate other tools with our solution. And so we encourage you to use, if there's a certain nonprofit tool or, maybe an event scheduling service, let's have ActiveCampaign be that like communication hub that you can funnel all that data into and strategically reach out to your members. But the benefit here, with a stackable approach is that we can keep costs down. You're not required to use everything under the sun with ActiveCampaign. It's very affordable to scale with us as well. Something I hear from customers coming to us from maybe more all-in-one tools is that they're paying these astronomical costs and only using a quarter of the features under that umbrella. And so, with ActiveCampaign, we want you to only be paying for the tools that you actually need. So that's a benefit as well. If anybody has any questions on this, please let me know. Also, something that I want to share is what, besides the technology, what else can ActiveCampaign provide? There is quite a bit of value and service and, trust. This is our guarantee. If you get started with ActiveCampaign, we provide a 2-year price lock. It's very easy to manage your subscription within the solution. Also, we provide a lot of services that are not additional costs. We strive to empower our users to be able to use the tool on their own. And so, if anybody joining after this call wants to get started, for example, we make that migration and transition very easy. So we have a team dedicated to migration and migrating, contacts, forms, automations, templates over, just making, taking some of that heavy lifting off your plate. Also, we offer, like I said before, tons of online training and support. We also foster, and facilitate a community here with ActiveCampaign. We have in-person trainings. Well, not right now, but we will have more in-person trainings. A lot of our trainings are digital, and we offer something called study halls, which I would love to get anybody involved in if possible. You can actually meet other ActiveCampaign customers, and it's all focused on, these are like weekly workshops for getting started with us and, building your organization with ActiveCampaign. Last slide here, a quick use case that I want to share of a nonprofit. that's located in our hometown, Chicago. We work with the Museum of Science and Industry. Now, I know this is a very large nonprofit, and they have very set areas of where their revenue is coming from, right? People are going and visiting the museum, but there are a lot of things here that I think can relate to all nonprofits in the way that they're segmenting and strategically reaching out to their donors and their members. And they do also integrate, Salesforce with ActiveCampaign. And so they, use the tools together to pass customer information between the systems and strategically segment their contact list into the, many different audiences, which I'm sure all nonprofits have, different, whether that is maybe a volunteer or a donor or a member. And, they're using this tool to help their limited staff as well do more with their resources. So let's go ahead. I'm going to jump into the platform now. Kelsey, do you have any questions, or is this a good, is there any questions that have come through on the chat that
None
I
have come
should
through
address?
yet. We've got a few watchers right now on Facebook, but no questions have come through just yet. So I'm still watching the chat here. Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you. So let me switch my screen and we'll look at the platform to give everyone a little feel for what it looks like. I know whenever we're watching a demo like this and something virtual, all these things sound so awesome. Let's show you what it actually looks like. So when you first log into ActiveCampaign, this is the dashboard. This is the first thing you're going to see. And a couple things I want to point out here. So, I know that, for those of you watching, if you've been evaluating other tools or you're using a database management service, internally, you can do very similar things with ActiveCampaign. So all of your contacts can be stored here. And let's say, if somebody is maybe walking in or like walking in and attending an event for a first time, or they're visiting your website, we can use ActiveCampaign to capture their information. So, I know events are very heavy for nonprofits. We actually have when you get started with ActiveCampaign, you have access to an iPad app, which you can use a form on through ActiveCampaign. And so, if you have people, walking in and that want to subscribe with you, they can fill out that form in person whenever that becomes I know the country's starting to open up. So this is a good time. I think it's more relevant. And fill out their information, go right into ActiveCampaign. They'll be stored here as a contact record, and then we can start collecting more data on them and sending them strategic emails. You can also build campaigns with ActiveCampaign. So those are your email templates, your one-off emails. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, for example, when COVID happened, we need to get an email out immediately to your whole list, probably, in that case. And so we can use templates here. Also, we're going to look a lot at the automation builder today, and these are your nurture drip sequences, that we can start setting up. And the nice thing with automation is once this is set up, it just works for you in the background. It really is a very powerful tool. We also, for those that are maybe more relationship based, and if you're a nonprofit that is calling and following up with your members or donors, or even volunteers, we can use deals. It's what we call our CRM, to manage those relationships. So if you need to create tasks, for following up, or automate tasks, it's very helpful for making sure that nobody's falling through the cracks. And so you can manage your contacts there as well. We've talked a little bit about the customer experience. And so Another tool that we've released is called Conversations, and this is a live chat tool, which is really nice. I personally love live chat, and that, you know, when I can go to a website and live chat with someone. And so this, you know, gives you that opportunity to just offer that for those visiting your site. And this will be connected with the contact record, and you'll be able to, it's a unified inbox. So you can see all the, you know, emails that have been sent and keep everything organized. This platform is very much intertwined with one another. And then of course we have forms as well. So, you know, I'm not sure everyone who's watching and what your site looks like, but we can connect ActiveCampaign with your website and put forms on your site to start capturing lead information, you know, and some of those new members that are interested. You know, maybe they're scheduling a call, you know, they could fill out a form. And then we also have reporting and analytics. Today, the main things I want to look at is a contact record, so we can, you know, check out where all the information is going to be stored and what that looks like. The automation builder, and also deals, the CRM. So when we click on contacts, this is the view. It's very clean and organized. You know, you can manage all of your contacts from this view. Very easily search for them as well. And, you know, we talked a little bit about like advanced segmentation. If you want to search for a specific grouping of contacts and maybe send an email out to them, or if there's, you know, people that you need to call, we can search this way. And so we can search by different contact details, you know, geography maybe. Let's see, you know, different actions. Have they opened or not opened emails? Are they subscribed or not subscribed? You know, what is their engagement with you? And we can even search by, you know, lead source and maybe where your contacts are coming from. So there's a lot of options here. Now, in looking at a contact record, again, very straightforward, clean and organized. I'm an organization person, so I definitely like the view of this. It's easy to use, easy to find everything. You know, of course, right up top is where all the contact information is going to live. Now, these fields below, these are going to change based on, they're fully customizable. So you can create as many as you need. Usually this data right here is going to come from a form. You know, it's pretty permanent data. Another segmentation tool that's really powerful is our tagging capabilities. So we can have, and tags are more engagement based. I'll show you this on you know, through the automations, but basically the automation tool, when someone takes action in some way, any type of, you know, online engagement, we can add a tag to a contact. So it's almost like a bookmark, you know, putting labels on this contact so that we can more easily identify them and who they are, where they, maybe where they came from. Did they come from a Facebook ad, for example? Did they attend an event? Did they attend multiple events? Have they viewed your site several times? You know, or have they been inquiring information? You know, and I'm thinking up here too, some things that, especially if we're looking at like increasing donations, we'll want to start tracking, you know, last donation date, their first donation date, you know, how many donations they've made. And then we can also look at their engagement to know how, you know, how much they're interacting with you. So these are things that we want to start looking at and that can benefit you to learn about your customers and reach out effectively. From an organization standpoint, any lists that your contacts are in will be stored here, and also any automations that they're in as well. And then, especially with organization, you know, some things we can also group together groups of these fields, so they're easy to view within the contact record. Also, any tasks, notes, emails will be stored here. And then lastly, we also have the activity feed on the right-hand side. And so this is live updating as your contacts are, viewing your site or opening email, subscribing to lists. This will all be stored here. So if you wanted to, go in and look at a specific record, this is what you would see. Now, it's great that we can collect all this data. What can we do with it? So let's look at our automation builder now to review this part of the platform. We can, of course, start from scratch, but ActiveCampaign has tons of recipes. So that's what you're viewing here. We call them our recipes. These are out-of-the-box automations that we have set up already for you that you can start taking advantage of as soon as you get started. And the nice thing about them is that they're very flexible. We want you to personalize them for your nonprofit and what's relevant. If there's certain actions that you want to add or remove, you have that flexibility. I understand, with some tools it might be pretty rigid on what you can do with a recipe. You have a ton of flexibility here. So I'm just going to scroll just so everyone who's watching can take a look at some of the different automations that we do have. Maybe getting those gears turning and ideas flowing. I think re-engagement campaigns are really important for nonprofits. We want to keep their engagement, keep them coming back. Now you're seeing all these ad points. ActiveCampaign has something called lead scoring. And so if you want to start tracking maybe or assigning points to to your contacts based on what they're doing. For example, we can start assigning scores, and then that can help you leverage that data for your outreach. So as you're seeing here, let's add some points for page views, or maybe they visit your donation page, for example. And then from there you can notify either somebody on marketing or a member of your team to reach out to them. And also, I know we're talking tons of engagement, but it really is for tracking their engagement. And you have full control over this on, how many points you maybe want to assign for a certain action. I think maybe, this one I love, identify possible advocates. This is something that we can set up to track repeat visitors. Now, I'm not sure if anyone is doing some webinars, but we do have automations built for webinars, and we do integrate with a ton of webinar tools. Something I didn't mention before, but we integrate with over 300 applications. We have quite a few native integrations as well. And so if there's other technologies that you're using, would love to connect after this and talk about that and how we can connect them and start leveraging that data.
Now, I do have a couple questions, Lisa, if I can interrupt you. Do these ad points happen automatically, or do we, how they go through and just pick what they need out of these recipes to get started? And the other question I have is, how often would you recommend touching people? We send a lot of emails here at the foundation, not just discussing donors, which automation would be helpful there, but we also do just a lot of communication out about, programs happening or press releases. Can you talk more about how that, maybe use us as your test example for a couple of those questions?
Yeah, so, okay, first one with the lead scoring. These are, you will set this up on the back end. But it is, as you're seeing here, if we just click get started, It'll walk you right through it. So right now, this is my demo account. I don't have any scores set up, but you will manage them and set those up and set like rules to them. So does that answer that question? It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, you'll be able to set those up, and you pretty much, I would say, like, figure out what you want to start tracking on and what's important to you.
Sure.
If you are doing events, for example, like all nonprofits are different. So if maybe they attend one program, maybe you want to assign a score to someone who's attended all of your programs, and get something out to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that
I
would be
think that
like
helped.
a good use case.
Cool. And then the second part was using it for all the different types of emailing capabilities and how often you recommend making sure people are touched.
Yeah, that's a good question. I um I would say that there's a fine line with that. We want to be careful about how often we're reaching out, because we want to keep them subscribed. But I think if you're using, personalized data and we're getting relevant content in front of people and able to track their engagement on, if they're opening or not, that will help you determine, okay, if I'm sending out an email every day, like, what's happening from that? And so that's where we
Sure.
can use our reporting to see the effectiveness of the emails. And also, I will mention, because that does vary for each business, it truly does, on like what you're sending out, because there are I think, especially with nonprofits too, there's like critical information that has to go out, and so like that needs to go to everybody. So you can be strategic in how that, and work with our team. I would say the best thing there, we would want to figure out what's best for you, and provide some best practices, and working with our success team,
Okay,
because
cool.
that does vary. But we do, like, I would say that's definitely like part of deliverability, and how often you're sending emails and if they're being opened or not. I think the biggest thing there, I'd be like, well, we need to track and start figuring out the effectiveness of what's going out.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking that. Because it's important. I think, we all think about that. For me, like as a consumer, for example, when I'm getting emails, you're wondering, okay, why am I getting another one? Or like, there's certain emails I open every single time. And so I think the goal there is we want to keep the members, and want to be strategic on how often we are emailing them. And I would say, like, the value here, as opposed to maybe using like an email blast tool, is that you have the ability to get strategic. So let's walk through this automation, and I think things will make a little bit more sense on when I'm saying, like,
Perfect.
oh, we can get strategic and we can get, super personalized. I know those words sound awesome, but it's like, all right, let's look at what we can actually, what I mean by that. So what you're seeing here, this is a nurture drip sequence. What starts off in automation? There's several things. So maybe I am subscribing to a list on your site, or I'm either in person with you, or I'm submitting a form on your website as well. If we're capturing data, you can also use our forms, just another nugget of information. You can use our forms within emails as well. And so maybe you want to do a survey, or get feedback on an event, for example. We can use forms there as well. But there's 24 different triggers. So whether that's opening, reading an email, we can even look at, if you're sending out videos, for example, or specific call to actions, we can look at if they're clicking on a link. This one's really powerful. I think, if a web page is visited, we can look at how many times it's being visited, or an event is recorded, like Zoom, for example, like this one. And then, I mentioned those tags earlier on the contact record. So if someone, this is the power of, I would say, of the tags. If somebody comes in and they attend an event, if we want to have a thank you email go out right after the event, or hey, how was the event, we can automate off of that tag. So it's collecting all that data and then using those different features, or a field change, like a custom field, to get the right communication out. Now, if someone is using maybe like an e-commerce or like a purchasing tool, if a certain nonprofit is maybe, or like collecting donations, or if you sell anything, we can look at, if a purchase was made or a cart was abandoned, or maybe a score changes. So these are the things that will start off in automation. Now from there, and this speaks directly to your point, Kelsey, depending on what the goal is of a certain automation, we can select and put in place like a wait condition. So maybe it's an event, and we want to maybe wait a day. Whatever the strategy is there, you can select, how, like put a buffer in for when you want that next email to go out. So they're not getting, bombarded with emails, for example. You get to completely select this. We will help you with it, of course, too. But we can wait until an action is taken. So maybe we want to wait until they open the campaign. And you can select a certain campaign. This one we just did any, but certain campaigns that you're sending out, that's one example. And this is that same segment builder that we saw earlier on. Now, let's say I'm on the Community Foundation website. I subscribe to your list, or I request some information. We can have an email go out then. You will, of course, draft that email. A cool feature that we have here is related to like machine learning, and we call it predictive sending. And so with this feature, you can the system will start tracking when your contacts are most habitually opening up their emails, and send that email out at the right time. So this takes some of the guessing out of, when you're sending the emails and hoping that it's at the right time that your, member or donor is on their phone and looking at their email. This takes some of that guessing out. And we can also create, emails directly from the automation builder. So I know I mentioned it earlier, like the platform's very much intertwined. This next part is what's really important. So in some other tools, right, you can maybe set up like 4 emails that you want to go out, but it's just based on time. This is based on action. So we get that, thank you for signing up with us. Welcome to the foundation. What happens next? We can get very strategic, and maybe we want to select, did they click the link or not? Or did they open the email or not? And I think this is really important because, in this case, if they are opening up the email, great. Let's send them another call to action. Maybe it's donate with us, or sharing, that awareness stage. This is what the foundation is all about. This is the benefit of joining. We can get that next communication out and then be, again, strategic on what goes out next. Now, for those that are maybe not opening the email, let's treat them a little differently. And how can we get them to re-engage? So we do have an integration with Facebook. You can put them directly into a custom audience and have an ad show up for them on Facebook. We also have SMS capabilities. And so maybe you want to get an SMS out. Of course, this depends on your strategy, but this functionality is here that you can take advantage of. And these are just ways that we can, really, it's increasing that engagement. Who's engaging and who's not, and how do we get, people to convert and start taking the actions that we want them to take. Now, you can also set up goals with ActiveCampaign. And so, I think a common one, we want them to donate. Did they donate or not? Something that's really beneficial here. So this action will allow you to track that. And if they, I think one of the big things here, we're, especially in talking about, okay, am I emailing too much? How do I know if my emails are working? Something nice with the goal automation or the goal action. Let's say, for example, I subscribe with the community right away, and then I right away go and I donate, all in the same 10 minutes. In this sequence, let's say me, Lisa Rubino, I would jump down to this goal action and then continue through the automation down here. But this makes sure that I wouldn't be receiving any communication that is no longer relevant to me, because that conversion already happened, that goal was already made. And so this is another way, that you can be strategic in how you're reaching out and making sure the right people are getting the right messages. We want to keep them subscribed. And so this is something that we have in place to do that. Now, if anybody wants to do like some more testing, we have A/B testing with the campaigns. So you can test the effectiveness of a single campaign that you're sending out. But we also have split automations, which is really powerful. So we can even split, this two workflows against one another and see which one is more effective. So there's quite a bit of like testing and strategy involved here that you can also take advantage of. So you can build out another one and see which one works better. And then with this action, you can have, if it's after a certain amount of time, after a winner has been chosen, right, after a certain amount of time or a certain amount of people have received, an email, or they've gone through the journey, all of the new contacts after that will automatically start following that path. So this is very much an automated tool, and it automates those mundane tasks that, I think a lot of marketers have to do, and selecting, building the campaign and then selecting the list, sending it out over and over and over again. This is all built out for you, which can save a lot of time. Was that a good use case, Kelsey? Is there another use case I can maybe speak to that might be?
I liked that a lot, and I think you're doing great sharing exactly how that works. So no, I feel like that was really good.
Okay.
That was great. Another question that we came up with on the comments are, so we have had a problem, especially even here at the foundation. I know this has been plaguing us. Constant Contact and MailChimp's emails are getting blocked through spam filters even for trusted senders. Do you all have a workaround to help with your emails from falling into that same trap?
That's a really great question. And so that's like all, that's all focused around deliverability, right? And so we do have we have a team here at ActiveCampaign that is dedicated to not only monitoring the effectiveness of your emails, but again, I would say you can work with our success team. We want to set you up with best practices. I know this isn't the most direct answer. I'm not an expert on our deliverability, and I would love to maybe send you some information afterwards to send off, but there are quite a few, not necessarily workarounds, but practices that we have in place to ensure that that they're going to the inbox. And, we've done quite a bit of research around it, because sometimes deliverability is an interesting thing. It could be something like, I would say my question back would be, well, how do you know the emails are going to spam or aren't reaching the inbox? And are you getting assistance on that? Like, we really work hand in hand with you if we're seeing a problem, to investigate it and find out, with like our deliverability experts, what we can do. Because sometimes it's something as small as like, the font in an email, or a certain subject line, or maybe like it's, embedding in a video, or maybe sometimes it's odd, like the colors in there. But I think the point is, we do have teams here that are dedicated to working on this. And I, would love to at least provide you with more information there, and to make, somebody feel comfortable with it. If this person reaching out wants to speak afterwards, I'm happy to, get something scheduled with our deliverability team,
Definitely. Well,
to share more information.
Yeah. You've even got people doing that. I mean, shows so much work, right, that you're doing. And you mentioned the success team, and I know that I don't want to take too much of your time away, because I know that we want to wrap up right at the end of the hour. But the other question that I had for you, that we've asked everybody, is, can you tell us a little bit about your customer service and how that works? Because we've had several different programs. We know that talking to a real human just costs a lot of extra money. And I wanted to know if you could make sure that that's included somewhere in the next 10 minutes.
Totally.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, these are all great points. I'm glad they're being asked. So, customer service, it's really important with the ActiveCampaign. I've heard, I talk to customers or potential customers every day, and I hear a lot of stories like that, whether that they're not able to get on the phone with somebody. A large portion of our business is customer facing. And so, we have a huge, not only sales, but also success team and support. All of our plans, so ActiveCampaign has 4 different plan types. And there's levels of support that are built into each. It's not an additional cost that you have to pay. You do not have to pay a fee to get on the phone with someone, like additionally, or like have to pay for a consultant in order to use their platform or something like that. And so anyways, all of our plan types have live chat and email support, all of them. And then also we have a few different support success teams. So depending on, what you want to go with, we have, for all of our plans as well, like a 1-week accelerated onboarding, kind of like boot camp, for getting started. We also provide and have the option for like a custom onboarding experience, which looks like 45 days with a dedicated customer success rep. They will work with you on your goals, develop a strategy. They'll be as hands-on or hands-off as you need them to be, right, depending on everybody's capabilities. But it really is very, very effective. And they will, so anyways, it'll be screen shares, just like we're doing now, whether it's like working in your account with you, creating homework, but it really is like developed around that strategy. We do also have resources. Our support team can also facilitate conversations if there are more technical questions, but we really try and develop a strategy with you as well. We do also have the capability or we also provide dedicated account reps as well. And again, these are services that are built in already. ActiveCampaign being a service that is built for small and medium-sized organizations, and this comes from like starting at our CEO, and his vision, really want to provide smaller organizations with the same services that maybe, like Netflix, for example, is able to buy, who, you know, has maybe like unlimited funds, things like that. And so I can send some follow-up information there too. But I think that's a great question. It is really important. I know for myself, not only I said this earlier, I'm like, I love live chat. I love being able to just instantly like communicate with someone. But getting on the phone it's just so much easier, I think, personally, you know, in a lot of cases, and being able to speak with somebody here. And so those services are available.
That is great. Okay, I'll let you take it away for the last few minutes and put the cherry right on top, because this has been great so far.
Cool. Okay, good. So let's look at just couple other things. I just want to show everybody, you know, what it looks like the different types of templates that we have available, you know, especially for everybody, you know, depending on where you might be coming from or what other tools you might be using. So you can create tons of different campaigns here, and this is very straightforward. But I think it's important to see, you know, if anybody also, we can provide free trials after this call. We offer a 14-day free trial, and I have a specific link that I can provide you. Would love to work with anybody one-on-one. You know, after this, if anybody, you know, if this has sparked some interest. And anyways, if you were to sign up for a trial with my trial link, I'll get notified, and then we can get in touch, you know, and just keep this communication going. So as you can see here, all of these templates are very customizable. You can also start from scratch. And we do have the ability to use like HTML as well. So that functionality lives here too. Something that I do really love with the templates, and for those of you watching who are the ones building out templates every day, and something that I hear that marketers really like is you can actually create within our templates different content blocks, and we can make them conditional. So let's say, you know, in this case, this is maybe a welcome email, and maybe you're collecting different information. Do you want to be a donor or do you want to volunteer? But they're all filling out, you know, that initial subscription with you. You can create several different content blocks within one email and make them each, basically put bookmarks on each one. For maybe one is supposed to be only shown for donors, one is only supposed to be shown for members, and one is shown for volunteers, for example. You can have each of those blocks in one email, and then when it's sent out, based on that criteria, only the people who are in those, you know, like blocks of, or only the people that have those certain tags or conditions on them will see those blocks. So what I mean by that is, like, instead of creating 4 or 5 different welcome emails, you can create them all in one. So that's just a time saver thing I wanted to mention. That's really convenient. And you know, that can be a huge time saver, and that a lot of people like, especially when they're the admins in there, you know, doing this heavy lifting. You're also able, and okay, I'm moving forward, but everything is drag and drop there as well. So just how we kind of saw in the automation builder, very easy to use. Now, we've talked a lot about tracking and like learning about your members today. And so within the emails, this is where that comes into play. You know, we can turn on all these different tracking to measure the effectiveness of your emails. And then you can also schedule them for certain times. And you can also preview, which is really nice. And you can preview the email for different email providers. So what does it look like if I'm on Gmail and I open it, or even on your phone? You know, so these are a lot of, you know, some of these things that we can test and will be important, I think, for deliverability as well. You know, when we're looking at the effectiveness, and, you know, this will be something we'll want to look at. If you're having issues with like deliverability in any way. And we also have an initial check. So you'll be notified in here too. Based on like how your email looks, you can do, it'll check. We want to make sure it's not going to end up in spam. And lastly, I know we have just a minute or two, but for those that do have more like one-on-one relationships with their members, I know all nonprofits operate a little differently. So this is what the CRM looks like if you needed to use something for one-on-one relationships, and if we can move contacts into different stages. This is of course built for sales, but maybe if it's, maybe there's an application process for becoming a member, that can be here. Or maybe like project management for events, things like that. The CRM can be used for a lot. It doesn't have to just be, and it's completely customizable. You can, customize the different labels here for the stages that are important for you. And also, if you're working with other departments within the nonprofit, depending on how it's structured, this can also be helpful. We can create multiple pipelines. And so maybe there's a team that's managing donors and maybe there's one that's managing volunteers. And I'm sorry if these aren't the best examples. It's hard when I don't know each nonprofit, but this can help teams work together. So in my case at ActiveCampaign, if the community foundation, for example, were to sign up, I would, have a contact record for you and a deal record with notes and information, and that would be passed into our customer success team when you become a member with a customer with us. And so that just keeps information streamlined. It helps the customer experience, knowing that your information's being shared from account rep to account rep, and but keeping all data in one place. So this is another data management tool that can be used, that I just wanted to show everybody at least the look and feel of it. And for managing tasks too, this view is actually, I use this view the most, for managing those tasks, and you can see the next like task that's on them. Anywho, this is the last thing that I had that I wanted to at least touch on briefly today.
Okay.
Let me pull up at least, I guess what's the best way, Kelsey, for those watching, let me share this screen with my email.
Yeah.
I'd love to send you like the free trial link that you can maybe get out along with my contact information, and I'm happy to have exploratory conversations, see if it could be a fit, share if whoever asked that question about deliverability, if I'd be happy to have a more in-depth conversation about that and bring in other members of my team,
Definitely.
but learn about the different use cases and share maybe something that's more specific. I try and be as customized as possible, and so I hope this was helpful for nonprofits today.
Yes, definitely it was. And thank you so much for all of this. If we have any contacts, I will certainly make sure that they get to you directly, and I'll touch base with you after this to share all that information for all the questions we asked. But I just want to thank you so much for your time this afternoon and for being here with us and all of this really great information, Lisa.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And, I've enjoyed working with you and the foundation, and I'm excited to continue our partnership.
Definitely. All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for watching Tech Talks this afternoon, guys, and we'll see you again on Tuesday. Take care and have a safe weekend. Bye-bye.